Very exciting. Today is the closing day of this property. The title is going to transfer under my name together with all these antiques that were actually left in this house, and this is actually, I think, just 1/10 of how much there was in the beginning. But anyway, I couldn't take that much, so I just picked some of the ones that I feel was interesting, which I can actually show you a bit afterwards. They look great. I think they will make great decorations for this place. So that means this is officially the second house I have in Japan. Well, anywhere in the world, but this is my second house other than my house in Kyoto. So this house was built likely around the 1930s, 1940s, and it's quite typical of what you will find when you want to find something to buy, as in there has been several renovations throughout the time, and it's not 100% original as the Machiya when it was built. For example, the first front floor was used as a barber shop. Part of the first floor is like an antique store at some point. The second floor of this house, Machiya, was completely used for residential purposes. So that's why for the second floor, there a lot of the original features can still be found. So I'm sure all of you are curious how much did I pay for this house. So the conclusion is this house I bought it for 1.5 million yen. And actually originally, I think 4 or 5 years ago, when they tried to sell this house in the beginning, was listed for 4 million yen. And then I think after a while nobody actually bought it, and it was 2 million yen until recently I decided to just visit, and I negotiated with the seller, and in the end I bought it for 1.5 million yen. So to be honest, I could understand in the beginning why nobody wanted to buy this house for 4 million or even for 2 million, because the photos look like this. So actually from 2 million to 1.5 million, it was quite a big discount, but in the end the seller he was happy to accept my offer of 1.5 million yen. One of the big reasons is, of course, he wanted this house to be preserved and utilized for the better of the community, for bringing back the vitality of this neighborhood, which used to be, I think, actually a really thriving and busy neighborhood back in the days, 100, 200 years ago. So the seller actually was born in this house, but again, like a lot of other owners, they don't live in these old houses after they are become adults, and the seller actually decided to build a new house just a few minutes walk from here, and he has no use of this house and just decided he wants to sell. So other than the property price, the other costs that were involved, the brokerage commission, the registration fee for the title transfer, it all combines to about 10-15% of the purchase price, and then the property tax of this place is only about 10k yen, so less than 100 USD per year. So the title of this video, it's the reasons why I decided to buy this place, which I'll get into later. First of all, let me just show you the place, the things that has to be fixed, and the things that I want to keep. So these are the documents for today, the receipt for paying some of the fees, and these are all antiques. They were left in this Akiya, Machiya, and these are lovely. Like, honestly, I could just use this in my home. They close and open nicely. They have a nice decorative newspaper on the ground, in the drawers, and all these, they are mostly potteries, and this is temperature thermometer from a bank in this area back in the days. And this grinder, very heavy. I don't know what it was used for, maybe for soba. And I'll show you some of the potteries there inside. And although this is all ripped, it's very sunny today. This is the back garden. Lots of work. So for example, voila. Looks amazing. For sake, I suppose. Ishikawa Prefecture is famous for the type of pottery called kutaniyaki. So I think a lot of these are kutaniyaki, as it says on the name here, kutani, 9 valleys, and these are all small cups for sake. And then nicely packaged, because no one used this. This was from Wajima. And I actually forgot what's inside here, but actually another antique. And then what's here? Huge pots. Oh, okay. I don't know if I want to use this, but huge. So I'm actually at the second floor, tatami room that faces the back garden. I actually want to keep most of this room as it is, because it just looks fantastic the way it is. I mean, there's some small cracks and maybe dust, but really overall there's not much to be done rather than making everything clean, changing the tatami mats, and even the ceiling is okay if I don't want to replace them. And then these old fitting, I think they are all fine with just new paper, new washi paper, fusuma paper. So just walking on the way down, this is storage. There's another storage where all of the antiques were kept in the beginning. The owner actually said there was a sword that he found, likely from Meiji era or even older. He had to give it to the police because it's the law. So I guess if you're going to buy a place, try to look for these antiques before the owner does, so you can kind of just secretly keep it if you want to. But anyway, for mine, the sword is gone. So this is the stairway, goes to the first floor, and this is the hallway from the back to the front. And the front is actually where the most damage are. For example, you see the ceiling, like no way you can keep it the way it is. There's leaking from this part of the ceiling. It's not leaking now, but I'm just trying to make it so it doesn't flood here during a heavy rainfall. These parts I also want to keep, but too much cracks, and maybe there's more to be done rather than just repainting them. These are nice fusuma. And I think you're all wondering, where is the room in the middle? It doesn't exist because, hey, you have like a void space that's not being used at all. So I'm just going to think about the best way to utilize the space in the center. Probably just so that from the first floor you can have like a really high ceiling looking up. So all these mud wall, plaster wall, it's falling apart. Likely going to be expensive to fix, but I've already bought it, so it's my responsibility now to fix this place. So this is one of the entrance. There are two entrances actually. Here is the stairway going up. There are more antiques here that I can show you. That's the toilet. Here is where the antique shop used to be. This middle space here, floorboards, and the very front is where the barber shop, hair salon, used to be. It's very bright today, so even if I don't use the flashlight, it looks fine. The back kitchen and the garden, this is somewhere that I want to really take away. I am sure there are termite damages because it's impossible to not have a termite damage in a place like this. This is where the outdoor boiler is. And then the garden. All these have to be changed. This is a very nice shelf cabinet, cabinet with all these antiques. For example, there's more of these Taniyaki pot. And also, I think that's like a coffee cup. I think I would just use it. I mean, these are brand new. They're old, but they're brand new. See? Simple. Nanao City is where my wife was born and raised. It's actually where my two daughters were born as well. Despite the 3-4 hours train ride from my home in Kyoto, I actually visit Nanao quite often. It's always good to buy a house where you already have some connections with, compared to somewhere that you have never been before. Being the largest city of the Noto Peninsula, this port town served as a naval base for the Kaka clan in the Edo period. Even now, Nanao City has its share of local temples, onsen hot spring district, traditional houses along the old shopping streets, and of course some unique traditions and festivals. Hanayume Noren, or bride's curtain, is an item that the women of the Kaka clan brought with them when they got married. It is hung at the entrance to the Buddhist room of the husband's house, and the bride passes through it to greet the ancestors. Seihakusai Festival is famous for its enormous wheeled floats called Dekayama. These floats are one of Japan's biggest, standing 12 meters tall and weighing 20 tons. Locals and tourists pull the giant floats together with thick ropes through the narrow streets of Nanao, with ritual chants and music in the background. And there is this crazy festival called Kiriko Matsuri. I think the photo tells everything. This is my daughter, by the way, at the festival trying to pick her favorite Anpanman mask. Good or bad, Nanao is just like many other small towns in rural Japan. The city's population was 70,000 in 1980, and that is expected to be down to 35,000 in the year 2040. Young people are leaving and the old shopping streets are all dying because of the big roadside shopping centers. The city will come alive for a few days a year during the festivals, But for the other 350 days, the city is dead quiet. Many people I know prefer looking for big kominka houses. They're isolated in the mountains with beautiful natural sceneries. Houses in those areas do make great vacation homes. However, I feel that it is these smaller traditional townhouses in the old downtown area that will play an important role in revitalizing the rural towns of Japan. I bought this Machiya because I want to see how much I can contribute to the community by turning the first floor into a shop and the second floor into a guest house. If all goes well, I want it to be a project that inspires others to do the same.